Business is the most powerful source for social change in America. And as the pandemic rolls on, more and more executives are making it a force for good. Leading the way, well, none other than Marc Benioff, the visionary founder, chair, and CEO of Salesforce. He's put his company's resources and his own considerable wealth to work fighting against COVID-19, which is how he shipped a 747 full of personal protective equipment from China to America this past weekend. Benioff has a serious plan to try to contain this scourge: national lockdown, massive protection gear for all, testing for all, including antibody testing, Manhattan Project to find a vaccine. Most importantly, he's pledged to give his hourly employees 90 days of pay, whether or not they're actually working. And he's calling on other executives to make the same promise. I urge executives out there watching to take the pledge. So let's dig deep with Marc Benioff himself to hear about what he and Salesforce are doing to combat COVID and figure out what our country needs to do to get back on track. Mr. Benioff, welcome back to Mad Money.
Thanks for having me, Jim, and hello from San Francisco.
All right, so Mark, how do you get a 747 full of PPE from China to here?
Well, Jim, before I start, first of all, let me just express, my thoughts to everyone who's going through such suffering right now in the world with this terrible virus. And this has been an unbelievable time. It's nothing like I've ever been through, and my heart is with everyone who is sick right now or has had a loved one pass away. And for us, this story began quite a few weeks ago when we saw our employees in different Asian countries start to go through this. And then it started to head towards us here in the United States. I got a call from Sam Haga, the chairman of UCSF here in San Francisco, saying that he saw an extremely fast run on his PPE, personal protective equipment, in the hospital already. It turned out a lot of people were coming to the emergency room to get checked if they had the virus or not. And he asked if I could try to figure out a way to get more PPE just here in the city. Well, that turned into a relationship that we had with Alibaba and their CEO, Daniel Zhang, who helped work with us so closely. And we've brought now more than 50 million pieces of PPE throughout the entire world. And we're working to bring more PPE in even this week. Look, this is a moment where business has to be the greatest platform for change, because you have incredible resources with enterprises that have relationships like we do with Alibaba. We can use that to help alleviate the suffering of those who have been hurt so badly.
And you're right. I should have started by saying I'm not taking it for granted, but it is wrecking families, lives all over the globe. It's also financially been an incredible, difficult cost to bear for employees. You have challenged people not to lay off people like they used to when things get tough, but to keep them on. Talk about the pledge.
Well, Jim, I think we realize we're dealing with not only a very significant biological challenge, but we're also dealing with a very serious economic challenge. And we can see that with projections of unemployment between 20 and 30% as this is over. You know, the way that we look at this here at Salesforce, Jim, is that there's three phases to this. First, the phase we're in now, the crisis phase, which started several weeks ago and probably will go until about June 1st, when we're dealing with this crisis through aggressive social distancing, which is why I'm talking to you right here from my home, even though it looks like I'm on the Salesforce Ohana floor. And then we move into a recovery phase, and that will last probably for about 18 months until about January 22. You know, when we start to head towards that recovery phase, we're going to need everyone employed that we possibly can. And that's why I've asked and I've challenged CEOs all over the world to take the 90-day pledge. Don't make these layoff decisions yet. Wait until we get into the recovery phase so we can see what the economic possibilities are. And I'm so gratified that so many CEOs have taken that 90-day pledge to hold off on their layoffs. It's a 90-day no layoff pledge.
Yeah, Mark, I'm glad you talked about 2022. The market's very excited today. Dr. Fauci, whom we both respect, is saying that maybe some of these mitigation efforts are working. But I know you and I, look, it's no secret, we talk a lot. And I think we both feel that this virus is a little bit different from what people think in terms of the ease with which we're going to eradicate it. It's actually the opposite, isn't it?
Well, the best thing that we can do right now is stay home. Right. By having social distancing, we don't give it the ability to infect everyone. And so that's the way that we're holding it back. But of course, if we all rushed out of our homes right now, we've not defeated the virus. It's still out there. Until we have immunization, we're still going to be subject to this type of virus. So we're going to have to figure out a way to operate the economy and operate the world with the virus until we see some of these incredible scientists come through with the immunization that we need to defeat COVID-19.
How bad do you think the recession is going to be?
Well, Jim, I'm not an economist, and I don't even understand the stock market. I have to leave those things to you.
Okay.
But what I can tell you is that when we look at the significant unemployment that's projected, we have to see that there's going to be a very significant impact as well on the economy itself. Well, what that means, I'm not sure. Whether it's a recession or whether it's a depression, no matter what, I think that we have to plan for all possible outcomes. Today, we posted, different scenarios. What could be coming in regards to the economy? What could be coming in regards to the biological crisis? We are fortunate to have tremendous scenario planning inside Salesforce, and we're able to project that out. I put it on my Twitter feed. If you look, we posted it jointly with Deloitte. And you're able to see there's a lot of different possibilities. The future is not set. So it's really still very much in all of our hands.
When I think about possibilities, I think of data. When I think about data, I think about Tableau. And the excellent management team that, by the way, you kept. And I wish people understood how hard it is to keep great management teams when you buy. But they tend to stay with Salesforce. Tableau's been good for you, hasn't it?
Well, we've been very fortunate, Jim, to have a fantastic relationship with Tableau, which turned into an amazing acquisition, which we completed last year. And you can see the power of Tableau right now. If you're paying attention to what's happening with the state of New York, you'll see the analytics dashboards in the governor's office. Those are Tableau. Right. You'll see the state of California projecting what's happening here. Well, that's also Tableau. If you go to King County in the state of Washington, that's also Tableau. It's instant, scalable, reliable, available analytics. And if you go to publictableau.com, you can see the COVID-19 hub that we've built that has all of these dashboards, as well as a whole workshop that gives you the ability to do your own modeling and understand what's really going on in the world. And I highly recommend everyone to look at that incredible site.
Let's talk about the national lockdown. California's numbers are quite different from where we are in New York. In New York, a lot of people taking the subway, a lot of people playing basketball, a lot of people going out until the last minute. We were keeping our restaurants open. We were told that, listen, we got to be New Yorkers. We're tough. This disease is tougher than humans, isn't it? The national lockdown is the way to go.
Well, Jim, I think that one reason that we've been so fortunate here in San Francisco, we only have a little more than 600 cases, is because that, as I mentioned, the leaders in our local medical community got everybody very excited very fast. And our mayors, our county officials, and our public health officials here all made decisions very early to lock down not only San Francisco, but all of the Bay Area counties. And that is why we have not seen this kind of horrible suffering that we're seeing in other parts of the world. And I really want to thank those incredible physicians who really made such aggressive, important statements. A lot of that came out of their work in the AIDS crisis, because we have such incredible infectious disease specialists here in San Francisco. They had the insights, they knew what was coming. And that's also why they got us hustling on the personal protective equipment as well. I think there's a lot of lessons from what's happening here in San Francisco. But I'd also say there's a lot of lessons from what's happened in other countries that have not been so severely impacted, and one is Taiwan. The Journal of the American Medical Association posted an incredible article on their website on how Taiwan has had such great success defeating the virus. I think that's something all of us can learn from. And, in the United States here, this is really our very first pandemic. And I think when we come out of this, we'll come out of this as a stronger country. We'll realize the things that we need to do to defeat this enemy.
All right, one last thing just about Salesforce. A bunch of my friends' kids, they had jobs coming out of college. They found out they didn't. They found out there are no jobs. They found out they've been fired. A lot of people, good people, 2-3 years in, they've been fired. If they're smart, can they get a job at Salesforce?
Well, Jim, I can tell you we're still hiring. And also I can tell you many aspects of our ecosystem are still hiring. You can see Salesforce Care, our package to help all those affected with COVID-19. We've already done 4,000 emergency deployments of our technology in the last 3 weeks. These are instant call centers, contact centers, sales organizations, marketing organizations to help get the word out on COVID-19. Jim, we have been hustling to make sure that our platform, which is incredibly scalable, reliable, it gives you the ability to build these applications to deploy in these emergencies, was available to everybody. We've done all that for free. And I'll tell you that those people were all trained on trailhead.com.
Right.
Trailhead.com is where you go to reskill to get the skills necessary so that you can be competitive in this Salesforce economy, which is going to continue to grow. So I've said it many times on your show before, but I think more important than ever, if you want to have the skills to be successful in the future, look at trailhead.com, get reskilled, and get ready. And that will be important whether you're applying to Salesforce for a job or to one of our customers, who's deploying new technology and new capabilities as well. Jim, one other thing I wanted to say, this is certainly a Holy Week, and I want to wish everyone a happy Passover as well as a happy Easter as well. But I'll tell you one thing about this virus and what it's taught me. It's taught us that we are really one humanity. It doesn't discriminate. Everyone is impacted. And we sometimes forget that we're all one. And I think it's a tremendous spiritual message for us to remember, especially this week, that through all of the illusions of our borders and the illusions of our separation between us as human beings, in reality, we're actually all one. And this is a tremendous moment for us to come together as one humanity to serve everybody, and also to express my love to all those who are going through this horrible time.
We have to hope for the best holiday for everyone and a good Passover and Seder to you and your family tonight, Mark. Good to see you.
Oh, thank you so much, Jim. And my best to you and your family as well. And let us see all the good things that can come out of it.
Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you. That's Marc Benioff, Chairman and CEO of Salesforce. Mad Money's back.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.